Hi, I'm Kimmy and today I will be presenting about Singapore's climate. In this graph, the red line shows the maximum temperature, the blue line shows the minimum temperature, and the green bars are the precipitation of Singapore's climate. The maximum temperature ranges from 29.9 degrees Celsius to 31.7 degrees Celsius, and the minimum temperature ranges from 23.1 degrees Celsius to 24.8 degrees Celsius, while the green bar shows the precipitation throughout a year in Singapore. The data tells us that Singapore has only two distinct seasons, a rainy and a dry season. Singapore also does not have a distinct rainy season. Singapore has a great amount of precipitation throughout a year, although it still stays hot and humid. In Singapore, it's mostly warm and never cold, and is in the tropical wet climate. Its maximum temperature is 31.7 degrees Celsius, and its minimum temperature is 23.1 degrees Celsius. The following factors are affecting Singapore's climate. The first factor is its latitude. Singapore is very near to the equator. In fact, it's only 1 degree north away from the equator, which causes Singapore to be in a tropical climate, also known as the tropical zone. Singapore is surrounded by the Indian Ocean and the South China Sea, and because of its location, it rains pretty often. The following two slides will show you more factors that affect Singapore's climate. Singapore is not near any mountain ranges. It is exposed to the surrounding environment, so its temperature is constantly high. Singapore is 16 meters above sea level, so its altitude does not affect its climate since it is not located at a high altitude. Singapore is surrounded by warm ocean water as it is near the equator, but Singapore is not affected by the ocean currents. The last factor that affects Singapore climate is prevailing winds. Singapore is affected by the doldrums. Since the doldrums are near the equator, the wind is calmer, and Singapore gets its warm and moist air from the equator. This slide shows Singapore and Manila's climate graphs. The comparison of Singapore's climate and Manila's climate. Singapore and Manila's elevation are quite similar. Manila is 18 meters above sea level and Singapore is 16 meters above sea level. In Manila, it has a tropical wet, dry climate, while in Singapore, it only has a tropical wet climate. Singapore and Manila's minimum and maximum temperatures are only 1 degree Celsius difference. Manila's precipitation happens at different times during the year, while Singapore is almost consistent. Singapore's climate is hot and humid like a tropical rainforest climate. Tropical rainforest typically experiences high average temperatures and a significant amount of rainfall. Singapore's average high and low temperature during 1929 to 1941 fluctuates from 23.3 degrees Celsius to 31.7 degrees Celsius. These are the slides that I got my images and information from. Thank you for watching!